Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got another viewer question here via email that I'm going to read and give you guys my opinions and my thoughts. And if you have personal experiences or suggestions, go ahead and put them in the comments section. So this email comes from Zach. Zach says, "Hey Bruce, I was considering a purchase for a new watch for a significantly higher price than I'm used to, and wanted your advice. Would you recommend the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date or the Ball Engineer M Marvelite? I know that the Ball is more money, but the in-house movement is very enticing. Do you believe the extra money is worth it for the Ball? As always, I appreciate your feedback and enjoy watching your channel. Best wishes, Zach." So Zach, great question here. I can definitely relate to where you're at. I remember the days where I was considering my first higher price point purchase, a lot more than what I was used to spending. And I'm a little ashamed to admit, but this was years ago during my dark days as a watch fan, where I owned, don't judge me too harshly, Michael Kors, Swiss Legend, Invicta. I had an Oakley watch. I thought they were the coolest watches ever. So that's where I was at. And my first kind of big purchase was an Omega Seamaster. This one was the Bond era with the blue wave dial, the blue aluminum bezel insert on a bracelet. And I believe I spent about $1,500 for a quartz version. An inexpensive ETA quartz movement that I thought was just amazing. And I thought this watch was on par with any Rolex. And I remember just being over the moon about the purchase. But that was my first kind of step up in spending money on a watch that I was not used to doing. So I can kind of relate to where you're at. I doubt you're into Invictas and Michael Kors and whatnot right now. I'm not trying to insult you, but I'm just trying to say that's where I was when I kind of made this jump. Now, the two watches that you reference here, I have experience with. I've reviewed both of them, and I really enjoyed both of them. If I had to pick one over the other in terms of quality and enjoyment, I think that the Ball is going to be the nicer watch of the two. I really like the finishing. I really like the bracelet. It's got a really solid built bracelet. The dial details are sharp, and I love the tritium tubes here on the dial. So in natural light, it's very legible, and then in low light conditions, it's probably even more legible. So it's a great purchase. I like the in-house movement. I like the long power reserve, I like the finishing. I think specs-wise, it's pretty attractive, and I can understand why you're drawn to it as a fellow watch idiot savant. So I like the Ball, but hear me out here. There's going to be some negative elements to Ball ownership. One is it's a Swiss brand that it doesn't have a huge following. So if you end up buying one, and let's say a month or two down the road, you're just not bonding with it, you don't like it, it's not what you thought it would be, and you want to flip out of it, there's going to be fewer potential buyers for your used Engineer M Marvelite. It might be kind of hard to sell, and I think you're really going to take a hit in the wallet depending on, again, how you purchase it originally. Do you buy it brand new? Do you buy it from retail price? Do you get a discount? Do you get it used? I mean, there's more, I guess you could say there's more unknown factors when it comes to a Ball purchase. And you've also got to understand that with an in-house movement, you're really restricted, especially a brand new one here from a small independent brand like Ball. You're really limited on who can service and who can repair that movement, because no movement is infallible to issues that pop up from time to time. So you're left with Ball, and you've got to pay whatever they charge to service or repair their pieces. And you got to be prepared to do that for the life of you owning the watch. It's a lot, it's a little trickier than the base Solita that's in the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date. And I don't want to sell that one short because it's an attractive watch. It's really well done. And there is going to be a bigger base of potential consumers if, again, you don't end up bonding with it and you want to flip it. I flipped my Seamaster years and years ago after I, did a little homework and research and got out of my dark days as a watch fan. So again, let me kind of sum up here. I think the Ball is the nicer watch. You would probably enjoy it more. But if I were you, if this was my money, if this was my wrist, I'd really want to be sure that that I'm going to bond with that Ball. And I know you can't just necessarily walk into an authorized dealer and try one on like you could potentially do with the Oris. That's an easier thing to do. So I'd want to be sure that I'm not going to want to flip it in a month or two, because you're going to take a bigger hit. You're going to, it could end up being kind of a sour situation for you. Then again, it could be opposite. You could buy it, you could love it, and you could never want another watch in the future because you're so satisfied with your purchase. So try and do a little bit more research and homework and really figure out if that's the one for you before you spend the money. That would be my opinion. Now let me give you a suggestion out of left field for a watch that I think is just screaming value for this price point that you're looking into. It's not a very heralded watch. In fact, it's kind of flown under the radar. And I'll be honest, I'm seriously considering purchasing one for myself and one for my wife so we can have matching watches. So that might happen this Valentine's Day. We'll stay tuned. My wife, she's not really interested in expensive watches, but this is something that I would like. This is the Tudor 1926. You can get it in 28, 36, 39, and 41 millimeter sizes, and it's really sharp and solid. Nice and thin, excellent finishing, dial texture here, and an ETA 2824-2 that's upgraded and regulated to multiple positions. This has a bulletproof bracelet and a little bit of name cachet, and I think that's kind of fun, especially when it's your first higher price point purchase. It's kind of nice to see Omega or Tudor on the dial as opposed to Oris or Ball. And I'm not trying to be a snob there. I think that's just a reality for most watch enthusiasts. So this one's a good one to consider. You can buy this new gray market on a bracelet 41 millimeter for about $1,600. Less than a Ball Engineer and Marvelite and more than an Oris Big Crown Pointer date. So let us know what you end up doing. I'd be interested. Hopefully this video is a little bit helpful. Thanks for taking the time to reach out. I do appreciate it. And guys, if you have questions you'd like me to cover in a video, feel free to reach out via email. My address is here in the description. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next video.